Hello, my name is Jordan, and I will be presenting on the Chaps, the Children's Auditory Performance Scale. What is it? It is a 36-item questionnaire that can evaluate the listening skills of children in various environments. The administrator is asked to answer the questions based on how they would compare their child's struggles or abilities to other children of similar age and background instead of just how their child struggles in certain situations. The example given in the Chaps is as follows. For example, all 8-year-old children, to a certain extent, may not hear or understand when listening in a noisy room. This would be a difficult listening condition for all children. However, some children may have more difficulty in this listening condition than others. Therefore, the administrator must judge whether or not this child has more difficulty than their peers in each listening condition given. That having been said, this should all be done when thinking about the child wearing their devices if they have one. So do not fill this out based on how the child does without their devices, but rather with them. The parent or teacher fills out the questionnaire in 7 parts. The first being the child's information, like their name, age, grade, current technology, spoken language in the home, who is filling out the form, who their hearing care professional is, the current date, and whether or not the hearing technology used is constant or inconsistent. The next 6 parts are the environments or conditions that are being asked about. Each have an introduction, the condition and environment, the questions, and then a section for observations. The first one of these is the background noise. You will see that the first 2 sections have the same questions, but different listening conditions. For the noise section, you answer the questions regarding background noise. For the quiet section, you answer questions regarding a quiet environment. For ideal, you answer questions regarding the best and most ideal communicating conditions. For the multiple input section, you answer questions regarding multiple stimuli, like visual or tactile stimuli in addition to auditory stimuli. For the auditory memory sequencing section, you enter questions regarding recalling spoken information. And finally, for the auditory attention span section, you answer questions regarding the child's auditory attention span. Now that we have covered what it consists of, let's discuss who it's for. The Chaps was designed as an easy-to-answer questionnaire for parents, teachers, or other guardians to complete for children who are 7 years or older. Overall, the administrator should use the Chaps to systematically collect and quantify listening behaviors observed in children who they suspect may need additional support, mainly educational. The Chaps includes a scoring system, but I suggest not using a physical version as the online one automatically calculates the child's score for you. This is an example of the online version. I just completed the scale and then this was automatically generated. The scale does state that not all children that receive an at-risk score for any section require extra support or intervention for those conditions. In the research, they found that only 55% needed special support for academic success. So the results of the scale are more of a guide for parents and teachers to see when their child may need a bit more help, instead of an automatic signal for additional testing or support or intervention. Although, with enough concern and more at-risk outcomes than passing, additional testing should be considered. For example, if a child scores come back looking like this, the parent or teacher would most likely start thinking about more testing or support in order for that child to receive adequate education. Also, keep in mind that these scores do not take into account the observation notes that could have been written down under each section. That qualitative data should also be taken into consideration. There is only one official language that the Chaps is offered in, and that is English due to the fact that the creators and publishers have not distributed any other versions themselves. However, other countries like Greece, Turkey, Poland, France, and Brazil have adopted and translated, or are currently translating their own versions So there are screeners in Greek, Polish, Turkish, Polish, and Brazilian Portuguese. The French version has not yet been widely used or developed. The original English version has been tested for validity and reliability in multiple studies and has been found both valid and reliable regarding highlighting concerns for listening abilities of children, particularly with hearing loss. What it is not valid or reliable to do is identify if central auditory processing assessment is needed or if there are any deficits in working memory. That created a bit of controversy in the literature, with some supporting using the screener and others suggesting only using parts of it and supplementing working memory tasks from another screener. Regarding other languages, the Greek, Turkish, Polish, and Brazilian adaptations were seen to be both valid and reliable, with the French waiting on further studies. Overall, this is a quick and easy screener used to help identify areas where a child may be struggling. It does not identify auditory processing disorders or auditory memory issues. However, results from this screener may encourage individuals to seek additional testing for those things. It does not require any training, so anyone can do it, but it is mostly used by parents or teachers. The main goal with this screening is to quantify listening behaviors for early identification of auditory skill issues. It is simply a stepping stone to help children who may or may not have hearing loss. My references.